All right, so we are on homework 16, which is the beginning of chapter 8, which is going to all be about hypothesis testing and probably really why you do statistics, at least if you're in behavioral sciences. First thing they're going to talk about is determining the null and the alternative hypothesis. There's always two cases that you could have to any problem. One might be equal and the other might be not equal. One might be greater than, the other one would be less than or equal to. The null always has the equal in it. So it says the breaking strength of cables produced by a certain company are approximately normally distributed. The company announced that the mean breaking strength is 2,180 pounds with a standard deviation of 180.5. A consumer protection agency claims the actual standard deviation is higher. That's what we're looking at. The actual standard deviation is higher than the given standard deviation there. So, standard deviation, our little symbol looks something like that. If I want to say the actual standard deviation is higher, I would say it has to be greater than, right? So, answer. If my actual standard deviation is higher, notice it doesn't have the equal sign with it. If it doesn't have the equal, it's going to go for your alternative hypothesis, which is your H1. So my standard deviation is higher than my 180.5. My null hypothesis then is the opposite of what I have there. My standard deviation would be less than or equal to the 180.5. The null always has the equal sign in it. So whether that's part of the word problem or if it's the inverse, the one with the equal always goes in for the null. Question number 2 then. The mean height of a certain kind of plant is 156 centimeters. Suppose we want to carry out the hypothesis test to see if the mean height of when these plants are treated with a certain chemical differs from 156. So on this one we have to use the symbol for mean. If it differs from 156, it would be not equal, right? Does not equal 156. Again, since this doesn't have the equal sign, that's going to be your alternate hypotheses. That means your null hypotheses would be the opposite, which means it does equal 156. So I'm either testing does it equal 156 or does it not equal 156. The third one there, it says a presidential candidate claims that the proportion of college students who are registered to vote in the upcoming election is at least 62%. Suppose we want to sample a number of college students and carry out a hypothesis test to see if this claim may be refuted. So we have to figure out at least, and we're doing a proportion here, and so again we have to use our symbol for proportion, which is just a P. What math symbol would be at least? If it's at least 62%, I would be doing greater than or equal to, right? If it's at least 62%, we're doing greater than or equal to. They also, with the 62%, will use the decimal, 0.62 instead of the percent. That one does have the equal, so that one is your null hypothesis. So that's going to be your first answer. P is greater than or equal to 0.62. That means your other answer, your alternate answer, if it's not greater than or equal to, it would be the less than, right? We'll be doing this on every problem for the next probably 4 homework pages. So we'll get used to doing this.